Good morning. My name is Joe, and my pronouns are he and him, and as more and more stars keep appearing up here, I'm beginning to wonder if our visuals this year are sponsored by the Dallas Cowboys. You should look into that opportunity for next year. Christmas is a story of love. For hundreds of years, love had whispered, I'm coming to be with you, to stay with you forever. It was love that celebrated that night in the skies over Bethlehem with angels, music, and shouts of praise. Love was the shining star high in the sky, sent to draw people from far away to come and worship the baby. And love has entered our hearts. We can feel it drawing us to love and worship God. We can see it gathering us together to celebrate this coming. And we can sense it reaching out to share with the needy all around us. Christmas is a story of love. Love that has come to us, love that has brightened our lives, and love is Jesus. You know that thing where if you say a word often enough, it repeats in your head until it starts to lose all meaning, it becomes just a sound? Love, 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 love. That kind of happens to me when I see that I'm scheduled to preach about love on the Sunday before Christmas. You all get to help me work through that this morning. Love, love, love. This poem was written as a lead-in to the hymn that we sang earlier, Love Has Come. Love has come and never will leave us. Love is life everlasting and free. Love is Jesus within and among us. Love is the peace our hearts are seeking. Love, love, love is the gift of Christmas, love. Love, praise to you, God on high. Which is lyrically a bit repetitive, but still a huge improvement over Bring a Torch, Jeanette, Isabella. And those of you who are reading the fine print noticed that those lyrics and this poem were written by a guy named, I'm not making this up, Ken Bible. Username checks out. I was unable to confirm that Ken Bible is married to evangelical Barbie, but that does seem likely. Anyway, I will begin the actual sermon now. Love, love, love is the gift of Christmas. Love, love, praise to you, God on high. Yes, love is the gift of Christmas. And also, what does that even mean? If it's to be more than a nice holiday sentiment, I would like a few more specifics about the love of Christmas. And I've got options. And despite my having fun with Ken Bible, these are serious and legitimate. All of them, I think, are legitimate Orthodox Christian theology, in my professional opinion. Let's start with sacrificial love. It's probably the default assumption for most of North American Christianity. Sacrificial love seeks the well-being of others above oneself. It is characterized by a willingness to sacrifice personal desires, comforts, and even one's life for the benefit of others. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. In the Christmas story, sacrificial love is all over the place. Young Mary's acceptance of an unplanned pregnancy and all the dangers and baggage that came with that. Joseph standing by Mary and this baby that was not his. And the central figure, the love of Jesus. Sometimes we talk about Jesus' sacrifice of leaving his home in glory, abandoning perfection, whatever that is, to take on a mortal life among the poor of the earth. Or other times we might talk about God's sacrifice, that God sent Jesus into the world, God's only Son, of the Father's love begotten. Of course, that line of thought is tricky. Is it truly sacrificial love to send someone else to do the thing for you? I've got some problems with that, and it's unfortunate that some of our Christmas carols do a poor job of Trinitarian theology. So let me be clear. Christmas and Easter, too, for that matter, is not child sacrifice. God is not putting his Son on the altar as a sacrifice for sin. God is becoming Jesus. God has always been. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. God and Jesus are the same thing. God is putting God's self on the line, not from a distance, but up close and personal. God is fully invested in this project, not partially and not vicariously. Is that kind of love a sacrifice? Yes, it is. Getting that invested is costly. And I also don't think that that concept fully captures it, which is why I'm glad that it's not the only way to frame the love of Christmas. The one that is my personal default at Christmas is the love of presents. And they call his name Emmanuel, which means God with us. This is not the whole story either, but it could be for me. Many Christians, particularly from the Eastern Orthodox traditions, consider Christmas to be the moment of salvation. It's the incarnation rather than the cross or the resurrection. That's the mechanism by which God saves the world. Of course, it's an artificial game to separate the various parts of Jesus' life and death and to argue about which one is the most important. I mean, the gift is the whole thing. Christmas is Easter, and Easter is Christmas. And, in my opinion, if God is with us, that's the ball game. That's the recipe. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. That is the whole story. And it's not the only way to see the whole story. We can also think about Christmas as what I will call embodied love. This one doesn't take much rigorous theology. You know that experience of being human? Yeah, me too. Birth, childhood, schooling, vocation, family, relationships, crisis, uncertainty, grief, isolation, and death. Jesus was there. He understands. He's been there. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. And that's not just Jesus in the Christmas story. We find that connection with Mary. That's a revolution right there for such a patriarchal book to put Mary and Elizabeth in the Gospel of Luke at the center of the story. Mary is the mother, the womb, and the giving birth. That is essential to the existence, to the experience of God's love as well. And Joseph, the common man, the human father in all of his uncertainty, and the outcast shepherds and the foreign magi. It's not a perfectly inclusive and representative story, but it is tilting heavily in that direction. This is a story that we are all meant to relate to, a story for everyone. God can relate personally to every human experience. That's the objective, the ideal. God loves me enough to go there too. As Richard Rohr puts it, God loves things by becoming them. And that connection goes both ways. Jesus, the Christ, is God's revealing love. No one has ever seen God, but the one and only child, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with God, has made God known. If you want to know what God looks like, and this, and this, and this, and this. Yes, God is mystery and metaphor, and God is one of us, weak as a baby, growing and learning as a child, full of curiosity and passion and compassion and tears and rage against the machine. This is who God is. Again, that's not the whole story, but at the same time, it is the whole story. We can and we do know who God is and what God is like. Not perfectly, but because we are limited, we see through a glass darkly. But we do know, as we are also known. And that desire to know and to be known is a central part of who God is, revealing love. A couple more. Redeeming love. One of the more intense metaphors for God in the Hebrew Bible is the book of Hosea. The book describes the prophet living out God's relationship with the unfaithful nation of Israel. Gomer, Hosea's wife, cheats on him. Some interpretations suggest that she was a sex worker, voluntary or otherwise. But Hosea stays faithful to Gomer. He pursues her. He wins her back through steadfast love. I've got some problems with that as a human story, but it works as a metaphor for God's redeeming love. Hosea pursues his spouse even though she is a mess. And in the pursuit, in the loving in spite of, Gomer is changed, at least in the popular imagining of the story. And that's the prophet's hope for the nation of Israel as well, that as God pursues them, no matter what, the people of God will be influenced by God's love. They will be redeemed. God loves us just the way we are, and God loves us too much to let us stay that way, which is cliche and just a little bit manipulative if it were the whole story of God's love. But it's not the whole story, and it is part of the Christmas story. Mary's pregnancy is scandalous. The forced march to Bethlehem to register for the Roman census is humiliating. The birth in the stable, the animals, the manger, the shepherds, all of that is so unclean. It's tainted by humanity. The indignity of human birth itself. What is God doing? This is all profane and crude and vulgar. But no, this is a holy night. This is the most sacred place of all, blessed by choirs of angels, heralded by the star, anointed with the most royal of incense. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Our God has done this, and it is marvelous, amazing in our eyes. What we thought was dirty and humiliating is actually holy ground. And so it is with us. We might feel worthless, sinful, not enough, but no, you are God's beloved. We shine like stars. God's love claims us, redeems us. Where do you think Dr. Seuss got the idea? Word nerd note of the day. Hosea is another version of the Hebrew name Joshua, which of course commonly appeared in the first century as Yeshua, which we pronounce Jesus. Yahweh saves, and that changes everything. That's the final kind of love on my list, revolutionary love. Christmas changes everything. The shepherds are changed by their encounter with the Christ child. The Magi, too, leave a different way. And Mary receives this gift of God and holds it all close and ponders it in her heart. She knew before anyone else just how much this child of love would transform the world. For you, the Almighty, have done great things for me, and holy is your name. Your mercy reaches from age to age for those who fear you. You have shown strength with your arm. You have scattered the proud in their conceit. You have deposed the mighty from their thrones and raised the lowly to high places. You have filled the hungry with good things, while you have sent the rich away empty. You have come to the aid of your servants, mindful of your mercy, the promise you made to our ancestors, to Sarah and Abraham and their descendants forever. This is not just what Jesus did. This is who he was. This is who God is. Showing up in the lowest place with the least powerful people, doing the most basic human thing ever, and in the process, changing the world with love. So that's my list. I doubt there's anything that surprises you on there. It's not meant to be a surprise. This is Christmas. And there are certainly aspects of love that could be added, perhaps something you can think about later. For now, I just invite you to take it in. This is how you are loved by Creator God, source and light and ground of the universe. You are beloved, you personally, as you are. And all of us collectively together, we are held by the sacrificial, present, embodied, revealing, redeeming, revolutionary love of God this Christmas. And these are some of the ways that we are also meant to give and live out love as well. To slip in one more Christmas cliche, God is found in the giving just as much as in the receiving. And I point out that neither of those are passive. This whole thing, the giving and the receiving, is a flow. The sacrifice changes the one who makes it. The presence is influential. The revelation brings both partners together, and so on. I'm going to close by giving you a couple minutes to look for yourself in the flow of love. Maybe there's something particular in here that you need to receive, or maybe one of them stands out as a path for you to give just a little bit more or differently. This isn't a to-do list. This isn't for everyone all the time. And I do think there is something probably for you here today. So I'm going to sit down and play a song and invite you to pay attention to the love that surrounds us and flows within us. Merry Christmas.